Okay. It's kind of foggy. Just gonna do some. Is it still foggy? I don't think so. I think it's just the lighting. It does seem like it's still foggy though. At like 7 something in the morning. I'm gonna start with some calisthenics as usual. I'm gonna do some dips. Leaning forward. Yeah, it's chest, but it's also delts. Front delts. So let's do that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I love hitting calisthenics whenever possible to just get the blood flow, you know? And then once the blood's flowing, then we go right to resistance work. And we go from there. I think it's Sunday. I got some things I gotta go get some stuff. Pretty much all food. I'm only taking like 2 supplements at this time. And it's not protein powder or creatine. I just take desiccated liver and I take L-citrulline. That's it. I don't even take arginine, just citrulline. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's really it. I'll do like one more set here. And then I do some push-ups as well. That's a good enough warm-up because it was literally freezing outside, and I've been outside for a while, so I'm kind of thawing right now, you know. So the blood flow can kind of act as a thaw for all that cold I was exposed to. But it's good because you activate brown fat that way as well and eliminate white fat. Yeah. I'm trying to find a spot. Yeah, I could do it right here. Boom. Get a couple sets here, and then we'll end with some push-ups, and then we'll begin. It's a new day, a new victory. That's all right. Okay. So I'm gonna do a couple more sets of these, and then we'll do some push-ups, and then we'll begin. There's this dude, right? There's literally this dude right in front of me. His freaking calves. His calves are nuts. I feel like showing you, like, I think this is the dude I spoke to last time, and I said the same thing. I was like, yo, your calves are nuts, you know? But, let's go. I think I'm gonna like actually warm up with handstands, well, handstand push-ups. Then I'll do a few sets of push-ups, and then I'll do additional handstand work, and then I'll go to resistance. Whew. I'll do some push-ups, a few sets of push-ups, and then I'll do some handstand work, and then after the handstands, we start resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whew. I gotta go to Whole Foods. I think I'm gonna have to go to the vitamin shop because I purchased some from Amazon and they're taking forever. Right? Like, what is the point of paying for Prime and you take a month? Like, it was one of those, like, after it was already purchased. I could have canceled it, but it's like, sometimes they change it, where it's like, for whatever reason, they say it's gonna take a prolonged period of time, and then it flips, and it's like way sooner. So, I don't know, we'll see. Do another set of push-ups here. What's up? Welcome, Rash. Appreciate it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, I'm going to do some handstand work. So we did dips, we did handstand push-ups, we did regular push-ups, and now we're gonna do some handstand work, okay? So let's do that now. This will be the last bit of calisthenic work, and then we'll begin with some resistance. Let me bring it over here, and then, whoop. Okay. I'm gonna have to kind of do this on Front Street because it's not like really a great place, and it's still only like 8 in the morning. So I'll just knock a few sets of these out, and then that's all the unconventional stuff, and then I can begin. The goal is to just get a few sets in. Usually I do these when I'm worn out, towards the latter part of the workout or towards the end when I'm tired. But today, I mean, I'm not saying I'm like not tired because I just went from push-ups and handstand push-ups right to this, so it still works. So probably do a few more sets of these and then get right into the delt workout, the shoulder routine. Okay, let's get it. On that last one, I didn't really use momentum. So it was like I was kind of like literally slow powering it up. Right? On this one, I want to try and use some momentum. Should be easier that way anyways, right? Use momentum, the power right into it. Like, ugh. Let's do it again. Oh. Do like a couple more sets, and then there's plenty. Like, I feel warm now, you know, for how cold it is outside. Definitely thawed, so that's good. Do like 2 more sets, and got good blood flow. I feel fine now. Welcome, welcome. Literally sound like something my mom would say. Do like 2 more sets just to get it out the way. Go right back into it. I'm here a lot now. Like, I've been working out with, you know, coming to the gym here, and I'm gonna do it here. Yeah, and what I wanted to say was, like, I find myself doing machines a lot more, you know, and I'm not gonna say I'm not a machine person, but you know, I tend to gravitate towards free weights, but being able to have so many machines at your disposal, I don't mind. Oh, this is a neutral grip. I kind of want to like knock this out as soon as possible before it starts getting crowded in here, even though it's a Sunday, but who knows? I don't really know how these gyms pack up. I don't know what people's schedules are, but I would assume in the next hour, it's probably gonna get way more packed in here. So I wanna just knock this out before all of that. I'll keep knocking out a few delt exercises. So we'll go front, middle, rear, traps, and then we'll finish with calves. You know, I tend to get sometimes forearms, but I definitely get calves. So we're gonna do that. This is a interesting hit. It's like I have a neutral grip, but I'm feeling my traps. You know, I'm literally feeling my traps like behind my neck, which is interesting. I'm gonna switch the grip on this one. Go with like a traditional, you know, palms up, and see what that feels like. But neutral grip, I don't know if it's because we're kind of leaning back a little. I don't know. Because it's not back to the point of where it would be like incline, but it's back a little bit. Like it's not straight, you know? So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but it's weird. I'm feeling it in my back, like my traps actually. Okay, let's go traditional grip on this one. See how that changes things. Oh yeah, that's different. Okay, so when I did that, when I switched the grip to a traditional, I felt it predominantly in my front delts. So it's almost like underneath my chest going into like the front delt. But when I go neutral, I'm feeling it like in my traps, in like the middle part of the trap. You know, like when you come to the back, like if you follow your neck down and that middle part of the trap, that's where I'm feeling it. It's weird. All right, we'll do one more set here and then we'll keep it moving. We'll do some, we'll go to the free weights. We'll get some medial heads in with side laterals. We'll do some more of this. Standard grip. Okay. Let's go dumbbells. I'm definitely gonna go light here. I don't know what this weight is. Seems kind of, no, it's a little heavy. I have to go really light on this. Because I don't want to like rock too much. I'm gonna pick a really light weight. Okay, this is a good weight right here. So we'll do this. Okay. So, 3 more sets of that, and we'll move on. We'll go rear delts. You know, instead of doing a dumbbell, I'll try and get on the cables and do some cable work for rears, you know? So, I feel like 2 more sets here. There it goes. Do like 1 more set, and then we'll keep it going, you know. Just gotta keep working, keep chipping away, like I tend to say. Constant stimulation, not annihilation, you know. But welcome. Trying to get the total package, you know. Last set here, and then I'll move on. Okay, that was pretty decent. We're gonna move on now. Let's move on to cables. You know, I was thinking, before I move to cables, I can get upright rows and some push presses. So I can go like a moderate weight, not anything too crazy. So I can go upright rows and then push press. I think that would be good. Let me see. Pick a straight bar. And I don't want to go too heavy. That's a little light. This may be a good weight. Yeah, this is a good weight. I think the actual weight that I wanted is being used, but it's okay. We'll just do a combo here. Upright row. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoo. Oh. Oh. Eh. Oh. Do a couple sets of that, and then we'll move on. After this, we can go right to row, you know? I mean cables. We get right to cables afterwards. You know, every time I come here, there are literally people like, I mean, obviously it's a gym, right? But yeah, I pretty much, at any time I've ever come here, and this place is about to be 24 hours soon, but there's always people in here. So I really want to see what it's like at like 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know? Because every time I've come here, there's always been people here. So I'm just curious to see, like, okay, what about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning? Because I'll be here. So I'm just wondering, shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna move on. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Trying to see where I can get you know what? I could do face pulls. That would be good. Let's get face pulls. Boom. Okay, I think they were doing probably like triceps, but let's go. Feels good. After this, there's not much left, you know? Literally fly through these workouts like nothing, you know? I could literally use that bar that's right there on the floor and just do trap work like that, you know? Get some traps in. I mean, there's a little machine there that I haven't used for a long time. Even though I already did lateral raises, I could do some more laterals with the machine because I just haven't done it for forever, so it'd be interesting. And I usually don't do machines anyway, so why not? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. A little bit more, and then we'll move on. Do one more set here and then just get right to traps. And then I'll get to the lateral machine over there and do those. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo. Woo. All right. Right here. And then do a little bit of trap work. Ease down a little bit. Just focus on the area, you know. Two more sets. We'll do some lateral raises. And then, so we did all the calisthenics. We hit traps. We hit presses. We hit laterals. We hit rears. We hit front. Anterior, medial, posterior. We're good. Look at that. Constant stimulation, not annihilation. And keep in mind, it's only been like maybe 4 or 5 weeks for me now since I started. So I'm sure it'll take me more time because I'm not going crazy in here and I'm not upping the calories ridiculously neither. So I'm sure it'll take some time, but I'm taking it slow. I want to take it slow. I want to have quality lean muscle mass, you know? So do one more set here and move to the laterals, and then after that we'll finish with some calves. Pretty much done. Not much else to do. I could do some pull-ups, but I already did pull-ups, so let's just go. Okay. Oh, you know what? Before I get to that doesn't seem too it's a little bit better. So before I get to I think this woman is about to use this machine. So I have to move that phone. Just want to make sure, is she resting her stuff there or is she about to get busy? And if she is, that's completely fine because that's why you come to a gym, right? To use the machines. And you have to be considerate when others are like, imagine I tell this woman, like, no, I have my phone there, so that machine is being used. You have to wait until I'm done. No, she's gonna use it, so let me move. No, I was just using my phone. So let's get a couple sets in here. Ooh, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you know, what's interesting is like, I did upright rows, I did push presses, I did a lot, you know, and it seems like I did nothing, you know, because I'm so used to obliteration nation, and now it's like just chipping away with stimulation, where it's like, in my head, I'm constantly like, oh, I want to do more, but I actually have to like hold myself back from doing too much. And you know, someone might be like, well, that's because you're not really going crazy with intensity. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I show up. And when I talk about frequency and upping the frequency, because that's the theme, that means that I'm not done here. Because when I leave the gym, I'm still going to work out at home. You know, I'm going to do calisthenics, I'm going to do squats, I'm going to do side lunges, I'm going to do forward folds, I'm going to do more push-ups, I'm going to do possibly some handstand push-ups. And the whole point is to just keep the frequency up, even if the intensity and the weights aren't ridiculous. So I'm constantly kind of like training. Just keep the frequency up, you know? So let's keep it moving. Okay, so like I was saying, before I move to calves, I have to do something that's very important. You know, I just have to find it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's right over here. Boom. Gotta do glutes. Because if you're not doing glutes, it's like, do you even lift? Look at that dude's calves. That's the dude I was telling you about. Like, his calves are nuts. I told him too. Like, every time I see him, I'm like, dude, your calves are absolutely ridiculous. He's like, yeah, I know. I used to be self-conscious about them. I'm like, man, those calves are, and those are the genetic calves where like they usually don't even do anything, and their calves are like ridiculous. Meanwhile, people like me are just going nuts trying to get thick muscles. Even though I'm not actually going nuts anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Woo. A couple of things I always work on, no matter what I'm doing. Like, okay, today we're doing delts, right? Even though I'm doing shoulders, I'm always gonna get calves in. I'm gonna get glutes in. I'm gonna do handstand practice. And I usually get some calisthenics anyways. So squats, side lunges, forward folds, handstand push-ups, pull-ups, dips, regular push-ups. And calf raises. I do all of those all the time, no matter what. So everything else is just like, all of that is kind of miscellaneous to whatever I'm doing here. Because you have to treat resistance with respect, When you come to the gym and you're pushing weight around, and that doesn't take anything away from calisthenics. It doesn't. Because doing the calisthenics I do, with the frequency that I do them, enables me to not go crazy in here and still get slow gains over time and keeping my body fat percentage low. As long as my sleep is on point, my hydration is on point, and my nutrition is on point, I will have what I need to have, while putting on proper lean muscle mass. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna do one more set, and then we'll move to calves. This guy's making me jealous because he's on the pull-up bar and he's doing pull-ups. And I'm just like, I have to do pull-ups now. I'm gonna do pull-ups. Before I get to calves, I'm gonna do pull-ups. Because now it's irking me. Now it's like, what are you doing with your life, Like, do you come to the gym and not do pull-ups? Even though I already did pull-ups? It's like, no, we have to do pull-ups now. And you know what? Just because he motivated me for no reason to draw inspiration from some other place, I'm just gonna do muscle ups. I'm not even gonna do pull-ups. I'm just gonna do muscle ups. So let's get it. Last set here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's get some muscle ups in. Like, how do you even top that? You know what this reminds me of? This is like, how you see those videos on like Facebook and Instagram where it's like, you come into a gym and it's like, the guy has the reactions because he's like looking and he's just like, what did I walk into? It's one of those. I'm just gonna do my thing. I'm not gonna do all that, but but I am gonna do some muscle ups as soon as he's done. you know. I can respect it though. And it's not a young whippersnapper neither. I just do like a few at a time. I just do one more set and then we'll keep it moving. Now I feel good. You know, I was watching the dude do pull-ups. It motivated me. And then I saw this dude. I don't know what he was doing. I respect it. And he's older gentleman. But it kind of like I had the steam and the inspiration to like one up the pull-ups slightly by doing muscle ups. And then it's just like, I see this guy and it's like, wow, he just went nut. And he one up the one up. So now it's like, okay, well, do one more set and then we'll get right to calves. One more set. Let's see if I can rest this here. Oh, okay, that works. Hopefully it stays. Boom. Let's get it. We'll go right to calves after this. Gonna get right to calves. What's up, bro? How you? There he goes. Okay. Damn, they totally like, they're probably doing like herky jerky movements because the whole machine is moved like off center. But I usually don't go too crazy here, but I do it all the time. Seated calves modified for soleus. And then after like 3 or 4 sets of this, I go right to straight leg for gastrocs. Can't ever say that I don't do what I'm supposed to do. You know, I don't just work quads. I work the posterior chain. I work hammies. I do stiff legs. I do Romanian deadlifts. I do hamstring curls. I do glute work. I do gastrocnemius. I do soleus work. I do tibialis work. You know, I do everything I'm supposed to do. So you can't ever say I skip out on leg days, you know? Because there'll be dudes that legitimately do legs as part of their routine, like on a regular basis. But people are still clown on them and be like, hey, you skip out on legs. No, they just, all they focus on is basically their quads. That's the issue. If you're only really working quads, then you're probably gonna have lagging calves. hamstrings, and glutes, you know? Not only aesthetically is that not a great thing, but like you could have muscular imbalances that way, where you can get injured as a result of having lagging body muscle groups, you know, especially opposing areas. And then you'll wind up catching an injury somewhere like seemingly unrelated, but they're actually, it's all connected, you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm gonna do like 2 more sets here and then just go straight leg. Done deal. Even though I did the muscle ups, I still feel like I want to end with like a few more pull-ups, and then I'll finish strong with the Roman chair, knee raise, like L sits, like straight leg raises halfway for the hip flexors, and then knee raises, bringing my back, the curve of my back, off the platform for core. And that's it, you know? Almost done. I took my time today. It was good. Last set here. Okay, now we're gonna move to straight legs. Do a few sets. I do straight legs every day anyways, calisthenic wise. I do it off the edge of the stairs, of the step. And then I focus on the bottoms, you know, the stretch at the bottom. Like really the negatives. And now I'm doing it with resistance. So I take the time to do that as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll do like 2 more sets here, and then I'll move forward. Couple more sets. Woo. Do 1 more, and then we'll move over there to the Roman chair. Finish with some pull-ups, hip flexors, and core. Done deal. You know, I think about like especially if you're doing everything you're supposed to do and you do it consistently and you want those results and you genuinely work with intent to execute in achieving greatness, The rest is just patience. You literally, sometimes it's like forced patience, like you need patience, you know? And you can't let the frustration prevent you from continuing. Because if you truly are striving to achieve greatness, then you have to be able to be patient, you know? Because then you'll look back one day and it's just like, wow, you know? Look where I got to now because I was patient. And I went through everything I went through to get to this place. So, I mean, it takes time. And it takes a lot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now we're gonna do some pull-ups. So I'm gonna do what he's doing right there for hip flexors. And then I'm gonna come up higher with my back coming off the platform to be able to work my core. But I'm gonna do some pull-ups as well. Okay, let's go. Okay. Straight legs like an L sit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was hip flexors. And now higher and up for core. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo. I'm pretty much done. It's a done deal. You know? Just gonna wash my hands. Well, not wash them. I'm just gonna use hand sanitizer, kill the germs, because I did a lot of touching without using gloves. So I'm gonna make sure I just sanitize, you know, because it's also very cold outside. So I'm gonna make sure with an immune system that gets compromised slightly and temporarily, or as the Fed would say, a transitory suppression of your immune system because of the weather. And if I didn't do this, and I wound up touching when I wasn't supposed to touch because of everything I touched, then it would probably be not such a good thing, you know? So, yeah, that's really it. You know, I want to just thank every person that stopped by, checked in. Hopefully I provided a little bit of inspiration for your day, you know, on this very cold, wintry, 20-something degree day. It's about to get warmer actually for the week, so that's a good thing. And it's 9 o'clock. Took about an hour. It's a good thing. You know, I didn't go crazy. I chipped away, did what I was supposed to do, and I feel accomplished. That's what it comes down to. You know, I didn't have to like kill myself in here to the point of where it's like I leave destroyed. Because I know nowadays it's about keeping the frequency up. So if you're constantly training and you make sure you sleep enough and practice good habits, you don't really have to go crazy in any one area, you know? Let me bring this mic outside because just give me a second. Keep it there. Now I have to go get some food. I'm not talking about like just eating post-workout. I'm talking about actually like food, as in grocery shopping kind of food, Yeah, and that's it. Oops. There it goes. Another workout successfully accomplished. Another routine knocked out and taken care of. So, feels good. Sunny day. Like I said, I think the temperatures are about to get much better for the next several days. So this week should be pretty warm, which is a good thing. Otherwise, it's cold, but it's nice. Skies are blue. And, my body's warm, but I'm not fooled. I'm not about to play games. I think I'm gonna switch the mic to have it like this, So we don't really need to have a magnet on right now. We just keep it like this. Boom. Keep it right there. Done deal, Yeah, I can feel the cold now, coming out of that gym. Time to get, 27 degrees. So, I'm definitely not fooled. It's actually my second live stream of the day. Earlier we were chatting. I was talking about, I'm on the same theme actually for the day. Like basically talking about frequency. and keeping the frequency up. Just knocked out a Delt routine. And the frequency doesn't apply to just the physical sense. It's also the frequency of anything that involves you trying to excel at whatever it is you're trying to achieve greatness in. So I know if you keep the frequency up and you stay with it and you have intent and you're striving to achieve greatness, the rest is patience. And in due time, you'll get it. It's pretty inevitable. Eventually, you will get it, Hey, miss, how you doing? Miss Ali. And my beard is definitely messy right now, that's for sure. But I appreciate the compliment, and I appreciate your time and checking in on this Sunday. I don't know where you're located, where you're checking in from, but this is New York out here. We're in Yonkers, New York, and it's 27 degrees out here. I gotta get some macros in, and then I gotta go grocery shopping, It's another reason why I do these live streams is because, I was reading a comment, and the first thing that came to my mind was like, okay, what's the source, But the comment was talking about just like how basically you equate cold, like extreme cold, with like misery. So it's like miserable to be undergoing extreme cold conditions. So like I said, the first thing is like, okay, what's the source, right? But then earlier in the live stream I just finished doing several hours ago, where it was titled, keeping up the frequency, I was actually talking about something contradicting that, where it's like science, if science has already given you the confirmation, then chances are you're already too late. Because science, generally speaking, is lagging. It's usually behind. So we don't always need the source. And it's a lot of times we can go off of what, our gut instincts are telling us. So in this case, if we're talking about how cold it is, and we're equating misery to cold, and again, that doesn't apply to everyone, because as I was pointing out in the live stream, I think it also is a genetic thing. So if you're a type of person who can't stand the heat, but you can deal with the cold much better, that's a genetic thing. Or if you're a person who can't stand the cold, but you can tolerate the heat much better, that's a genetic thing, So, yeah, I mean, at least in Brooklyn and Staten Island, like, oh wow, I think they got this blocked off, and I needed to make a left here. Of course. So I have to make a U-turn. But yeah, like I was saying, Brooklyn and Staten Island are it doesn't make a huge, what's interesting? I don't know if you're still here, Miss Ali, but if you look at the difference, right? Check this out. The difference between because Brooklyn, Staten Island, Manhattan, the Bronx, basically the boroughs, right? There is a difference between Brooklyn, like South Brooklyn, like around Staten Island, to like the North Bronx. There's a difference. There's like probably a 2-degree difference, right? And then from the South Bronx to like parts of Yonkers, there's another 1 to 2 degree difference. So the difference between Staten Island and Brooklyn to like the northern borders of Yonkers, you're talking about almost a 5 degree difference, which is the difference between 27 degrees and the border of it no longer being freezing. You know, so it actually is something, you know? And then, but here's the thing. So that's like a 3-4 degree difference, right? But then if you compare, let's say Yonkers in the Bronx to like Upper Westchester, Putnam County, Greene, any of those areas, it's another like 5 degree difference, right? So the difference between Brooklyn and Putnam is like a solid 7-8 degrees. That's a nice little difference, right? But here's the thing. The difference between Brooklyn and Clinton County, bordering Canada, it's a major difference, right? What's interesting is all but 3 weeks out the year, the difference between Brooklyn and a good part of Florida is not a major difference. Now, don't get me wrong. There are 3 weeks out the year. I would say 3 to 5 weeks. 3 to 5 weeks out the year be a substantial difference between the two. Like right now. So if you're in Brooklyn, it'd be like 30 degrees out there right now. 31 degrees, right? 32 degrees. But in Florida, it might be like 70 because we're in that 3 to 5 week period right now, which is basically the coldest months out the year. But most of the rest of the year, there's like no difference. But the difference between Brooklyn and Clinton County bordering Canada is a major difference, and we're in the same state. But then there's not much of a difference between Brooklyn, PA, Washington, Maryland, North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, and much of Florida. So it's one of those, you know, fascinating things. At least speaking, I'm like, why is it like that? And I think the reason why relates to flat land. Like, yeah, Yonkers has hills and whatnot, but overall, the East Coast, now I'm not saying there aren't mountainous ranges, there are, but when you go from the East Coast of Southern New York down, there's a lot of flat land, you know, excluding certain mountainous ranges. But the overall landscape of a lot of these states are relatively flat. And I think that's why the fluctuations of temperature, it's not so varied like it is from southern New York to northern New York, you know. And then of course the air that's blowing from Canada and wherever it's blowing from, of course it's like you're coming from like very extreme northern areas, right? So, and it's not getting cut off. So I get that. But anyways, I have to get to Whole Foods. I have to get a few items. But what's up, Bear? Long time. You know? You know what's interesting, Miss? Like, when I was in school, right? I was just having a conversation with someone because I had a quick conversation with her and she was talking to me and I was like, I noticed her teeth and I was like, do you have Invisalign on? And yeah, good morning, Bear. And she was like, yeah, I do. So then I was like, this will be like, I've had braces more than once, right? So I'm gonna get them again. And this will be like, basically like letting her know at the same time that when you especially if you're not getting traditional, like conventional braces, but you have something like, it's almost like a retainer, which is what Invisalign is. It's like, that requires work, because it's almost like an honor system where the orthodontist has to trust in you to do the right thing, right? And if you were like me, like when I was younger, I would just, and that's expensive, right? Invisalign nowadays is gonna be like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for like 18 months, but sometimes as short as 6 months. And you spend like thousands of dollars, and then you squander it by not being consistent with the whole process, right? And I say all that to say, like, now, because I'm way more mature, and the way I'm on point right now. So if it was a geography class and I had to go to school right now, I would crush it. I would crush it. Undergrad, post-grad, it doesn't matter. Wherever. If I just wanted to take classes in any college, I would crush it right now. Because I'm so on point and I'm mature. And the same goes with like braces. I know this time when I get braces, I know the value of $1. I know how important it is to not do this again, where I'm like, oh, I didn't get it right, you know? But if you, like, sometimes in your head, you could fail a lot of times in life on whatever it is. But if you're not quite ready to let it go, because in your head you're telling yourself, like, I'm not done with this. Like, I'm gonna get it this time. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna rock it this time. That's how I look at braces right now. I'm gonna crush it. And I want to take classes. I want to take all types of classes for fun. Like, I literally, I'm not, I have to spend the money. I'm gonna come out of pocket for it, and I'm going to do it for fun, and I'm gonna crush it. All types of classes. Like, when you have to pay out of pocket, because when I went to go get the x-rays this most recent time, right? I could have got it done, but I was balancing too much, right? 2026 is my year. It's our year, but it's my year. I am annihilating this year on a financial level, right? But 2 years ago, when I went to go get the x-rays, I went to go, because she was suggesting I do Invisalign. It wouldn't be the first time. And I got Smile Direct done, and another one, right? Long story short, the conventional braces, the traditional braces, are like almost $8,000. And Invisalign, and I'm coming out of pocket, right? And Invisalign is like $7,000, right? And she was suggesting Invisalign because my teeth are not very crooked. So it's like I have very little work to do, and it would be done relatively, it wouldn't take too long, right? So I was just like, wow, I had so much debt and I had so much to balance. My credit score is good. I didn't want to like take the chance and like take on too much. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait. I'm going to chip away at debt, and I'm going to get it to a place where like it would be nothing for me to come out of pocket. And that goes back to what I was saying about being patient. Because if you're diligent and you're doing everything you're supposed to do, the rest is patience. You have to wait sometimes, And like I also said, sometimes you're not quite ready to let something go, because in your mind you're like, I'm not done. I'm going to get this time. And that's what's happening with a lot of things, including braces. And I want my teeth, I like the way my teeth are when they're a certain way, to my liking, aesthetically, So, like an overbite, like facial structure, it's like a lot changes when you get your teeth set properly to like how it should be with your facial symmetry, you know? But oh, okay. International relations? That sounds interesting. But yeah, and like I quit a lot before in so many different things, right? And that's why I said, like, right now I crush it. You know why? Because it's not my parents trying to put, because I had traditional South Asian parents, right? They're strict like Chinese parents. Right? It's like everything is about education, 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 you know? But I didn't want to do it myself. You know, I wasn't like a typical South Asian kid who does so well. I didn't even hang around my own people, you know, because I didn't want to. I was never like that. Like I was always around every single type of person, right? So I never really wanted to excel in school. It was just them that were pushing me. But now I won't quit anything. All right? And the only time I quit something is if I know for sure this is doing me no good. That is the only time I would quit. And that's just letting go of something, because where is my... Oh, it's there. Okay. I would let it go because, like, my mind is telling me, like, you're dragging right now by holding on to this. This is a waste of time. That's the only time I would like let something go, you know. And I have recently. I let 2 things go. I'm in the process of letting 2 things go. You know, I'm just to, you know, put you onto a little bit of my own private business. I'm letting go of real estate, and I'm letting go of business. Right? So, you know, sometimes people say, don't put too much of your information out there. I know when not to and when to. And these are just some things I'm sharing. I'm done. You know, I learned what I learned, and real estate is not it, in my humble opinion. And business is not it, in my humble opinion, for me. And I learned that. So am I a quitter because I'm quitting real estate and I'm quitting business? No, because I spent years in both, and I had to learn some valuable lessons. It's just not for me. So yeah, I feel you. You know, when you're able to teach yourself, I think there's definitely a lot of value in being able to be self-taught, you know? So, and tuition is not inexpensive, right? We were talking about braces and how that's very expensive, but at the same time, I would be frugal. Don't get me wrong. Like me as a student, regardless of how well paid I am and how I can afford things, I'm still going to be frugal, because part of being well off is how you apply discipline and sacrifice, where you just don't squander money, right, and resources. Like if I'm taking a class and I get the syllabus, and the syllabus is saying, well, you need this to go through the lessons, right? And this happens to be a $368 brand new textbook. Okay, used, it's probably like $174, right? But then you can also take photocopies and spend $30, right? What do you think I'm going to do at this point? Because back then I was getting the books. Now I'm photocopying the pages. It's way different now. It's just the whole thought process is different. Like, what are we wasting money for? you know? So, miss, like when you can apply that way of thinking to different areas of life, I do the same thing. Because it's one thing when that thought is circulating in your mind, and then it's another thing to actually execute, right? And when you execute, it's like, oh, I did it. I did it. It's like today, right? Earlier in this live stream, I didn't I didn't want to I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't even want to be out. I just wanted to cozy under the covers and just like rest. But in my head, I was like, I already slept 9 hours. So why am I like, it's kind of like a lazy thought. So I was like, nah, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to keep the frequency up and I'm going to do everything. You know, the cost of so much. I don't know about other countries, but in this country, listen, if you're not making the right decisions with your money, you will get eaten alive by inflation. The cost of everything is so crazy that if you're relying on savings and just stacking up money in Chase or Wells Fargo or Citizens or Bank of America, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you will be eaten alive and you won't ever, ever be in a situation where you're not forced to live well below your means. Not because you just choose to, but because you have to. It's a major difference. I slept like 8, 9 hours. So like I'm getting these thoughts of like, I just want to be cozy. And I shook that off and I'm like, you know what? Screw that. I'm gonna get what I have to get. And that's what I did. I went out and I just started doing everything I have to do. Like right now, I want to go to the vitamin shop because I ordered something from Amazon and they're taking forever. So I'm just gonna get it from the vitamin shop, and the vitamin shop doesn't open till like 10:30. It's 9:30 right now. Finished the workout. Took me an hour, and I'm gonna get some food in the meantime. I'm gonna go grocery shopping. I'm gonna do the things I have to do, and then by the time I'm done, the vitamin shop should be open, so I can get what I have to get from in there. Where Amazon, at least I have something in the interim until Amazon comes through. Like, yo, I'm paying freaking $200 something for Prime. Why are you taking 3 weeks? That's like what do I live in Hawaii? Do I live in like, the Bahamas? Like, why are you taking 3 weeks? And I have Prime, and I'm in New York. Like, it's making no sense to me. The first thing in my head was like, I should cancel this immediately. But then I didn't do it, and now it's just like, you know what? I'll try something different from the vitamin shop, the only ones I'll like partially let, what's up, Angie? Partially let sleep is my bird. But if you're a young kid around me, I'm probably going to bother you, because you would bother me. So I'll probably wreak havoc on some little kid. Because every little kid that, doesn't ever let me sleep, I'll be waiting on that moment for you to start dozing off, and then I'm going to catch you, So I feel for the younger generations as well, because I'm not going to let them sleep. Yeah, you know what, miss? It's usually like that, actually. It's like when you have that, like you said, you're trying to apply the patience that you have for that to other areas of life. But when you already put the patience into that right there, it's like you know that when a lot of these spots mass produce things, there's not a certain like level of extra time and effort into it. It's more like a just hurry up and buy type of thing. Was just pushing it out there for people to just like, okay, it's packaged, it's done. It's like, who's gonna get it? Okay, on to the next, on to the next. You know, so I believe it. You know. Oh, you said guilting. Yeah, exactly, Bear. It's the love you put into it. You know, the passion, the love, and it comes out like exquisite. So of course it's probably gonna beat a lot of whatever's mass produced, you know? Because there's no love there. It's just the love of the profit that they're trying to get while poisoning people. That's just what it comes down to, you know? But as far as the gym, I'm on it right now, you know? I'm on it. Like everything is a high frequency where it's like I have to keep the frequency up, you know, with everything. Because it's in my head, it's the only way I'm going to achieve superior greatness is by making sure I stay consistent and keep the frequency up. But, you know, I salute the folks that have passions and hobbies and put their time into things like that. And Miss, I hope you do get the opportunity to exhibit patience in other areas of your life like you want, you know, and what better way to start than now, you know, whatever it is you're trying to be patient, whether it's a person, people, you know, whatever it is you're trying to pour that type of effort into, you know, I wish you the best on that, you know, because me, it's already in effect. Everything I'm striving to make sure happens this year, it's already done. In my head, it's already done. Like there's no doubt whatsoever. One after the next, they're all getting knocked out. You know? There's no doubt whatsoever. And wow, it's 9:30 in the morning and folks are just like, they're enjoying that 28 degrees. Hey, you know, do your thing. Do your thing. Shoot, I'm in this vehicle and I'm feeling it, you know, so it's one of those things. But part of like the passion that exists for 2026 is the connection I have with making sure those goals are achieved. You know, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. You know, I want to make sure every single last thing gets done. And, you know, each time I do get it done, like today, I went to the gym, you know, it was like, I didn't want to do it, but I did it. Guess what? That gives me motivation. So now it's like, okay, because if I listened to that part of my mind that was saying, you know what, I feel like curling up, you know, under the bed, I would have lost a step. I would have lost motivation. But because I did what I wanted to do, even though it was difficult for me to do it, and I went to the gym and I just did it, now it's like, okay, I stepped up. The frequency was up. So now it's like, okay, I want to knock out more things. And now, like I said, there's a whole bunch of things I want to do before I get to bed. And I'm going to make sure I do all of them. So then when I wake up, I'm riding off the motivation from before I went to sleep, as opposed to the opposite, where it's like, you know, just feeling like that, you know? And then it's just going to carry on to after I get up and I'm going to be feeling like that again. No, I'm feeling driven and I'm feeling motivated and determined and focused. And we're going to ride that energy and keep that frequency up, and that's what it's all about. And, oh, so yeah, that's a good place to, push your patience towards the gym. The whole physical part, the transformation, whatever you have in your head and what you're trying to do, that's a good one. I've been applying that myself, so I can relate for sure. That's a great one. And like we were talking about earlier with the misery connotated to the cold, it's one of those things where it's like, we have to brush it off. Because me personally, I'm not going to deal with this for much longer. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here November, December, January, and February. So if I do a live stream or if I do something like this, you're not going to see snow in the background. If you're a part of this channel, you're going to see coconuts and blazing sun when New Yorkers in Brooklyn and, the Bronx and Westchester are like freezing their behinds. I'm going to be sweating and I'm going to be talking about it. I don't know if it'll be 1 more year or 2 more years. At the most 4 more years, because I have to be honest, and I have to be patient. But I'm not going to be doing this for much longer. And it starts with this year, 2026. I look at a lot of people that I look up to, and I've watched them after they retired. Because a lot of people after they retire, they get a sense of like, where it's like, I deserve this, I waited so long to be able to retire, and now I am in that position to retire. So it's like, in my humble opinion, I see this whole like financial thing as a very important part of it. If your finances are on point and then you retire, hey, you're probably, like I said, you're not going to be forced into living well below your means, right? You could just live well below your means so that you can stay free and even build upon it, But to each your own, all of you all. So, you all are going to do things however you all do them, but I just see it as like, we struggle so much every day to try and make sure we get to a place where we're not stressing over money and like not feel restrained because of financial constraints, So it's like, I just think you should literally do whatever you can to make sure you master that, And if you master that, then it's like you don't have to worry about that one thing that all of us are kind of like always stressing, throughout life. You start through school and then, you get an education, you get degrees and you get work experience, and you then, in order to get a higher position, it's like, it's all for money. Yeah, some of it is the experience, but it's all for, you're doing it for a paycheck. So it's like, it all comes back to the same thing, the dollar or whatever your currency is, So it's like, I just think we have to master that, independence, that is, and freedom. I think if I was to move to like Mississippi, North Carolina is a good one as well, I think. But Mississippi,
in the U.S., and you can say whatever you want to say about Mississippi, but in the U.S., Mississippi, cost of living is damn near third world. If you really wanted to be frugal, and if you had the bravery to make that kind of a move, and you wanted to save money between Alabama and Mississippi, shoot. And if you knew how to, like, I guess, simplify your way of thinking so that you had the mission of preserving capital, wow. Like I said, North Carolina is like the closest to New York would be Pennsylvania, right? Probably even more than New Jersey. But North Carolina, Georgia, but Mississippi and Alabama, wow. Mississippi number 1, Alabama number 2, then probably some of these other places like North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, But that is the mindset. If you have your mind set in that type of way to be frugal, which takes a lot, right? Because you have to make some tough decisions. And sometimes they're like very extreme decisions, Miss, I think about that a lot, right? And I honestly, over the last several years, I've been thinking about how there's so much potential in life, but honestly, I can't see it without having the funds to do so. And that doesn't mean you can't do things without money. Of course you can. But you have so many more options with money, So I think once you master your finances, then you can discover a lot in life, But then again, every person's situation is different. So you have to kind of like look into your own life and see what are some of those things that you can explore and say, well, there's more to life, and these are a lot of the things I want to do. But if you're handicapped because of money, it makes it extremely difficult, and you have to like really simplify that vision, and that's why I say I think financial freedom is so important to master, and that takes a long time, and you have to be diligent and sacrifice with a lot of discipline over a long period of consistency to be able to make that happen, and it's not easy whatsoever. There's a reason why there's only 1%, that means 99%. Those are horrible odds, by the way. 99% are not making it. Those are not good odds. Yeah, Georgia is another one, because like when I think about these places, right, I'm not just thinking about cost of living. I'm thinking about one main thing, and that main thing is related to taxes. Now, if it's not so I'm thinking about income tax, I'm thinking about sales tax, I'm thinking about property tax, and I'm also thinking about living. Like, if you're gonna rent, what is the rent? So those are the things I think about, because those are the things like you can't really, what's up, Mike? You can't really avoid those things. And some of those things, like, they'll raise the prices suddenly and whenever they want. So you can't control it. So like utilities, insurance, taxes, like they will just unexpectedly do whatever they want. So you have to factor those things in advance when you're thinking about how you can be frugal. Because it's one thing to be frugal just with your shopping and your expenditure. But what about the things that you can't avoid, right? And if you live off the grid, that's awesome too. But that also requires a whole leap of faith as far as how you go about doing it, right? It requires bravery. It requires a whole mind state that enables you to make a decision like that. You know, of course you're gonna get so much out of it, and at the same time you're probably gonna save a lot, but you have to, like, there's some learning curves, right? So I can tell you one thing: if you have land and you don't have property on that land, like the land is your property, the taxes are going to be dirt cheap in comparison, right? And some states, like, you can finagle ways to kind of live on land and not raise the taxes, right? I mean, you have to, like, maybe it might have to be a place in possibly a conservative location where it's like one of those neighborhoods that is not, it's like the whole neighborhood is off the grid, you know? It's not coming to my head like what it's called. It's like where it's basically off the grid. There's a term for it, right? And as a result, they're not really, so the coding for those places are different as far as, like, you can basically build however you want. You can almost do whatever you want within reason, right? And those places, the taxes are dirt cheap, and you could do whatever you want there, you know? And usually they're secluded, and a lot of people don't live there. They're very isolated. Population's very low. All of those things. You probably have to travel a bit to get things that normal, you know, more metropolitan areas have. Like, you have to do some travel, you know? But if you wanted to kind of, like, do whatever the hell you wanted to do and, like, pay, like, very little in taxes and live off the land, off the grid, it'll be one of those type of areas. Florida's coming to my mind. Certain places where it's just like, you know, you're gonna save a lot of money if you were to make a move like that, you know. But yeah, Georgia, the Carolinas, Alabama, Mississippi, of course, parts of Florida, Louisiana, parts of Texas. Even here in New York, you would find it. But the problem is, you have to go north. And the problem with north in this state, it's 28 degrees right now. You know what happens when you go north? Like I was saying, you go up towards Canada. You thought this was something where it was like, what, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches out here? It's going to be like how New York was around here in, like, near the boroughs like 30 years ago. That's how it is over there, but, like, worse, you know, where the snow still comes up, like, covering vehicles, like, and then some, like covering a Sprinter, you know, like the whole roof of the Sprinter is covered. Like, that's what happens over there. So yeah, you're gonna, like, get down south prices up north, but the weather is so extreme on the cold front, it's ridiculous. So it's like, are you gonna do that to live by the freaking North Pole? I don't even know how Canadians do it, you know? I don't even understand how Canadians do it. I don't know if it's like, okay, those places are not as harsh as the Atlantic coastal side, or because I would assume like North Dakota and Wyoming and some of these border states that are bordering Canada are like northern Minnesota, and like they must have harsh conditions in the wintertime. Because out here, Brooklyn, Yonkers, Westchester, the boroughs, this is the southernmost parts of New York, and it gets kind of brutal over here as far as how cold it gets. So then it's like, if this is too much, you know, if you want to try and save money in New York, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it by winding up, you know, dealing with ridiculous, extreme cold temperatures, you know? But yeah, that's really it. I'm like almost an hour and a half in. I just wanted to check in. I wanted to do this live stream today with you all and just keep the frequency up, you know? We knocked out a shoulder routine, and I'm going to leave the country, Bear. That's just what it comes down to. That doesn't mean I'm going to stay permanently, but I'm going to leave the country. And I'm going to save a lot of money. You know, and when you see me there, you'll remember that I said this. And I didn't just say it once. I didn't just, because I'm manifesting it. I didn't just say it once on this live stream. I've been saying it. That means I'm manifesting it. So when you see, you'll know it was a part of the whole plan to save money. Because no one else really does it, you know? Because it takes a real crazy leap of faith to be able to make moves like that, you know? And fortunately, in my case, I don't have anyone, you know? I don't have anyone. So I can do things that a lot of other folks can't do or just choose not to do because, you know, my kids are in school and, you know, they're going to high school and like, I have to be here for, you know, my wife doesn't want to do this or my husband doesn't want to do that. And it's like, you know, it's always something. So I get that. I'm going to take advantage of my particular situation. So, yeah, like I said, if the South is great, but if I can move to another country and get something even, you know, crazier, financially speaking, you know, why not? Yeah, that must be nice, you know? That must be nice. Because if you don't heat the house over here in New York, shoot. I don't see how much of a sissy you are in New York not heating your house. You're definitely going to be a sissy. You're going to be heating your home. But I'm sure, like, when you get to certain places, then... Because I don't heat the vehicle in here, you know? So I get that. I don't heat the vehicle. So, but in certain situations, I think it does call for heat, you know? Otherwise, you'll be really uncomfortable, you know? But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to, as I always do, thank you all for coming by, stopping by, coming through, checking in, chiming in, and as I always say, I value your time. I appreciate your presence, your energy, and we'll do this again soon. And till the next time, you already know, you know. You too, miss. Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate the sub. And Bear, I'll catch you next time. And